Hello and welcome to my latest video. This video features former world champion Frank Erne. So let us go through Frank Erne's career. Okay, didn't have a massive career, even though over 50 fights is a large career now. It wasn't back then. So let us go through his main opponents. So Frank Erne, okay, begins with a draw against Solly Smith, very capable fighter. He then also fought a trilogy with the great George Dixon, scoring 1 win, 1 loss and 1 draw. Frank Erne then fights to a draw against the defensive fighter young Griffo before fighting former lightweight champion George Kid Levine on 2 occasions. Okay, Frank Erne scores 1 win and 1 draw from those 2 fights. He also twice fights the old master Joe Gans, okay, scoring 1 win, 1 loss and no draws. And then Frank Erne loses 3 singular fights. The first 2 terrible Terry McGovern, the second to Rube Ferns, and the third to Jimmy Britt. Next up is former pound for pound rated fighter back from the early years, okay, George Elbows McFadden. Frank Erne defeats him. He then loses to contender Martin Flaherty before then also scoring a win over contender Dal Hawkins. Next up, Tom Kuig, okay, defeats Frank Erne in a singular fight. Frank Erne then fights to a draw against Tommy Dixon before scoring a win in his last major highlighted fight here against Curly Watson. Clash Royale Pro 698, good to see you. So from there, okay, there are 18 fights listed there. Frank Erne scored 6 wins, 7 losses and 5 draws from those 18 fights. Now when we go on to his KOs and rounds boxed, Frank Erne scored 15 knockouts. He scored 4 KOs in 3 rounds or less and 1 in the first round. Now Erne scored 1 KO or stoppage over a champion, 1 over a Hall of Famer and 1 over a pound for pounder. As a pre-rating era fighter, he scored 0 KOs against rated fighters, and Frank Erne fought a total of 500 professional career rounds. He fought 94 title fight rounds, and he fought totals of 141 rounds against champions, 115 rounds against Hall of Famers, and 166 rounds against pound for pound fighters. Now Frank Erne fought no rounds against top 10 fighters, top 3 fighters or ring champions. So going on to his slide against champions, Frank Erne had 12 fights, including 3 wins, 5 losses and 4 draws. Frank Erne defeated 3 individual champions. They were George Dixon, George Kid Levine and Joe Gans. He scored knockout or stoppage over one of them, Joe Gans. When we go on to the Hall of Fame slide, Frank Erne had 9 fights, fully splitting those 9 fights into 3 wins, 3 losses and 3 draws. He defeated 3 individual Hall of Fame fighters. They were George Dixon, George Kid Levine and Joe Gans, and he scored knockout or stoppage over the same Hall of Famer as was a champion, the old master Joe Gans. And when we go on to the final slide of his more niche opponent categories, pound for pounders, Frank Erne had 13 fights against pound for pound fighters with a record of 4 wins, 5 losses and 4 draws. Now he defeated 4 individual pound for pound fighters, George Dixon, George Kid Levine, Joe Gans and George Elbows McFadden, and of course scored stoppage over the same aforementioned Joe Gans. So going on to rated opponents now, Frank Erne, pre-rating era fighter. So though sadly I cannot give you his full rated opponent information, he has 0s against top 10, top 3 fighters and ring champions, and defeated no individual rated fighters and scored knockouts over 0 individual rated fighters. But Frank Erne, while being a very good fighter and being a Hall of Famer now, would I put him in the Hall? I'm not 100% sure. Yes, he's got big fights on there to Gans and Levine, Griffo, etc. Doesn't have the greatest winning record in there, didn't really score that many massive wins, so would I put him in the Hall of Fame? I'm not 100% sure. He was an excellent fighter, he lost very few fights really, considering his era and the opposition, everything else, but still I'm not sure I'd put him in the Hall of Fame. But it's not my decision. So going on to title fights, Frank Erne did have 7 world title fights. He only lost 1 of them, with a record of 3 wins, 1 loss and 3 draw. Yeah, big shout out Bruce, good to see you buddy. He also made 2 title defences, and Frank Erne scored 2 title fight KOs. Now, he scored no wins against top 10 fighters, top 3 fighters or ring champions. He scored 2 wins against champions in title fights, 2 wins against Hall of Famers in title fights, and 2 wins against pound for pound rated fighters in title fights. And when we go on to the final slide for Frank Erne, it seems a very quick video, because the last 2 videos I did, of course, were Archie Moore and Henry Armstrong, 2 gigantic videos really with masses of numbers on them. So it seems to have gone very quickly, doing a much smaller career and a much less deep career. If you think back to, you know, like Henry Armstrong, with those slides against champions, Hall of Famers and pound for pounders, I mean, the slides were packed, but many other fighters don't quite end up that way. So let us go on to titles won. Now, Frank Erne in his career captured the world lightweight title. He's also lineal lightweight champion of the world, and Frank Erne was an undisputed lightweight champion of the world. So a smaller career, okay, for Frank Erne. He will join my lightweight playlist. I've already done quite a number of career videos this year, and this will continue until later in the year, until I begin that brand new top 1,000 countdown. I'm looking end of August to start that, so I've got plenty of time before then to get dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens more career videos done and more stat matchups done, and of course kickstarting more videos on my matchups, matching the stats between my current top 10 all-time greats on graphs, bar graphs, where you can see what each fighter achieved across multiple categories: champion stats, Hall of Fame stats, title fight stats, pound for pound stats. Yeah, so those videos will be coming soon. Next video, first video, and that will be coming over coming week. I'll probably do first few over coming week to get the playlist up and running. So there is my latest career video. Big shout out to the guys in the chat. There is the video on Frank Erne. I have to now jump off because when I did the Hall of Fame updates, as I do at end of every year, so the new Hall of Famers going in, I go into my 1,000 fighters plus, I match the new Hall of Famers to any fighter they fought in my top 1,000 plus, and I amend all their opponents who fought them, update their Hall of Fame records, rounds against Hall of Famers and everything else. But the only problem I've got, okay, and it's a problem I've not encountered before, is I'm building a brand new larger database while I've got the old one going. So new fighters are appearing in the new one whose files have been updated, while the old one is still there. But the problem is that on the new one I seem to have updated the Hall of Fame stats, but I haven't updated the old one. Now until the new one is finished, I use the old one. Yeah, it's complicated, and I've never had this problem before because I've never been building a brand new database while I'm using an old one, and I need to do the Hall of Fame updates properly on the old one. So I discovered that this morning, typing up a video on my top 1,000, and I typed up the video and I thought, hang on a minute, is Hall of Fame recording that because he fought Jimmy Clabby? So when I checked, I checked his record and thought, oh god, I ain't updated the old files for Jimmy Clabby joining all. So once I've done this video, I'm cracking on with that. Yes, I am sad and I make work for myself, but I love boxing, it's my passion. So below, of course, my wife and my family, boxing is my number 2 passion. So I have to crack on with that this evening. So as soon as I get off, I'll be jumping onto that like a psychotic Terminator, terminating away, powering through all the stats, the files, getting it all updated. I've got it to do, of course, on Golovkin, Ben and Tava. I'm currently working on the updates on the old overall database for Jimmy Clabby. So, never-ending work for the boxing librarian, but I wouldn't have it any other way. So I will say a big shout out to guys in chat. There's Frank Erne, my latest lightweight. I'm out for now.